with the cop. I don't ever show
20 out already.
Gotcha. See all this thought that I was having?
No, it's annual. No.
Crazy.
That's really isn't what happened.
That's right. That's right. I can trust.
Yes.
I got 6 o'clock, so we'll bring this meeting to order at February 13th, 2023 Board of Supervisors. And we'll have the innovation by Mr. Chris Hughes, Springs of Life Camp.
Father, we are so thankful, Father, for the freedom to be able to come together in a place like this, Father, all sorts of different parts of this community, Lord, just to talk about the business that you have to talk about, Lord. I just see all of the uniforms in this room, Father, just reminds me of how blessed my family is to live here, Father, but just to, again, just remember how protected my family is, Lord. I just thank you for that. I just pray over our supervisors as we talk about what we're talking about this evening, Father, and I just thank you for the presentations tonight. I just thank you for this great, great community, Lord. Love you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Perry. Will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll have a moment of silence in recognition of the U.S. military serving here and abroad. Thank you. Is there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, we do have 3 items that we would like to add under old business. We're going to have a report from Scotty Castle, Emergency Management Director, Emergency Services Advisory Committee, also known as the ESAC Committee. We'll have a solid waste disposal emergency agreement and also opioid resolution.
Okay, do we?
And the closed meeting session that we do have for termination under personnel.
Go ahead. All right, do we have a motion to accept the meeting agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Ms. Simmons?
Aye.
Aye.
Darrell?
Aye.
And I vote aye also. All right. We need to get everybody okay with the meetings, the minutes. Had time to read over it?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion, need a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Darrell?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
And I vote aye also. All right. We need to do the approval of the bills, claims, and appropriations. Do we have any discussion, anything on that? I had one that didn't get to talk to you about, but jumped out at me on page 65, the transfer station, $3,736 for a backup alarm.
On the cat loader, I believe it is.
That much money to put a backup alarm on it?
I don't have a copy of the receipt, the invoice in front of me. That's what it was for.
Okay. All right. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the bills and appropriations?
I'll make that motion.
Motion. Second.
Second.
Simmons?
Aye.
Call the vote. Aye. Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
And I vote aye also. All right. Then we had, next thing on the agenda is fire and EMS awards for Mr. Scotty Castle.
stand up. Hear me? I'm Mike Bass, and I represent Colonel George Wallace, chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution out of Martin. We are an organization that honors all American to the Continental troops during the American Revolution. We have members that are Patrick County, Martin. Each year, we like to recognize our public safety people working public safety. We give 2 awards, rotate out Patrick. The 2 awards we give each year: Fire Safety Commendation Medal and the Emergency Medical Service Medal. The Fire Safety Commendation Medal and certificate given to individuals, male or female, accomplished and or outstanding contribution to fire service protection system. Fire safety. We also give the Emergency Medical Service certificate, which is intended for male or female paramedic, EMT, or others medical equipment performed in active service beyond home protection. And one like them. Fire Safety Commendation, Mr. Rod Howe. You swear to protect someone on ready. But anyway, we would like, because of the illness of the individual that brings it, I don't have the home. The Emergency Medical Service Medal be awarded here to Steve Allen. Steve, yes, sir. So, like heritage.
Mr. Deloach is not here tonight. Jerry asked to announce why. He's going to the NACO, National Association of Counties meeting, so he couldn't be here tonight. All right, now it's time for public comment session. It looks like we got, first one is Mr. Kurt Bosenauer.
Good evening. My name is Kurt Bosenmeyer. I'm from the Smith River District, and I would like to address the board regarding the progress of several issues in the county. First, I would like to thank the Board of Supervisors for providing this platform for public comment, which appears to be proving effective in stimulating interest in current affairs amongst our citizens. Specifically, numerous questions and comments on broadband and progress with the hospital have resulted in updates on both issues in these meetings as well as in pages of local newspapers. One needs only observe the increased attendance at these meetings to see the increase in public interest. Next, I would like to address another issue that relates to ongoing problems that may relate to the difficulty in increasing tourism and commercial development in the county. This year will mark 20 years since my wife and I bought our house in Patrick County. We were drawn here by the beauty of the county, its recreational opportunities, the friendliness of its residents, and the quality of life to be found here. However, at that time we observed that there seemed to be a high proportion of vacant and/or abandoned houses and commercial buildings along the main roads of the county. A number of these buildings were in states of partial collapse at that time. I am disappointed to note that many of these buildings remain in a state of partial or total collapse at this time. I fear that many people visiting Patrick County for tourism or for consideration of possibly locating a business here may find such visual blight discouraging to such plans. Additionally, as well as possibly attracting wildlife and/or vandalism, these buildings reduce the market value of nearby properties. U.S. Census data indicate that nearly 1 of every 4 housing units in Patrick County were vacant as of 2019, an increase of 47% over the 2000 census. Of those vacant housing units, over half are listed as, quote, other vacant, unquote, meaning not for sale, not for rent, or for other seasonal uses. It's an increase of 147% over the year 2000. I suspect that many of these 1,387 other vacant housing units may in fact be uninhabitable. I will circulate to the supervisors photographs of 7 examples of these partially or totally collapsed buildings to be found along a 6-mile stretch of Woolwine Highway and Jeb Stuart Highway, north of the town of Stuart. These are just along one small section of one major north-south artery and do not include many that can be found on secondary roads. I fear that if some action is not taken by the county, we may return here 20 years from now to find many of these buildings still in a state of partial or total collapse. I would like to take this opportunity to ask that the Board of Supervisors initiate an effort to determine if this condition of derelict buildings can be addressed through an ordinance or other means. Such actions are routinely taken in Henry County, as can be seen by the public notices posted in the Henry County Enterprise. The town of Stuart is currently experiencing increased public interest in addressing their derelict building situation, and I feel that it is long past time for Patrick County to address it as well. I would like to be reassured that the county government simply doesn't care. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you. All right, next on the list, we had Mr. Malcolm Roach from Smith River District.
Okay if I stand and move around a little bit?
Tax issue tonight and the internet, cellular phones here in Ryder County. I did some research. Over the last 10 years, the county's population has gone down 4.5%. Shrinking, not growing. So I want to read. The boards in the past have created a cycle that's dangerous. By the population going down, what they do is they raise your taxes, spread that among the left, so that they have the same income they had the year before. This creates a cycle. People paying too much tax, down. And cycle. We have some interesting things going on now. The hospital might bring professional jobs. Daycare and brewery might bring jobs. But they're not the kind of jobs you can raise a family. Casino and double-edged. As it creates good-paying jobs, it also comes along with its own set of problems. I worked for the Trump Corporation when they built subcontract. Drugs, prostitution, crime, automatically came to Atlantic City. I almost guarantee you. After the casino was built, let's say during the casino, constructed the property value around the casino rose dramatically. Once they actually bought up the property, they needed parking, all the rest of the property values fell. 3 blocks outside of the Atlantic City Casino, you go, and you're going to get it. So we have some things we need to do for the independent. I'm going to ask the board actually, perfect. Every company provides service in Acton County right now. And sooner or later, this board is going to have to make a very hard decision. It's not going to be popular. After taxes, you're going to pay more taxes. No other way around. Way it is right now, milk's $1 down, dozen eggs up, gas up, propane up. Everybody got hit with a high electric bill this month, right? I saw one thing that I thought I would like to ask you about, maybe they could explain later, is the increase in school budget. Like COVID came, I'm wondering if we're going to go back to free budget on that budget. Pull that down. Next thing I wanted to talk was about cellular service. Cellular service and internet service ties why our town is growing. River Street says they're going to come and they're going to have internet by the end of 2020. That by a lot of Ryder County mountains. Without a good internet, without a good cellular service, industry and manufacturing are not going to come to our county. It's not. Take Amazon. What does Amazon run on? Amazon runs on the internet. Order it to your house. You can't provide the company with communication services that they need. Why would it's not going to happen. I I would like to see the county invest more time and energy right now in cellular. There's areas in the whole county that don't have any cellular service at all. At least with cellular service, if a company wants to come, they can call and old-fashioned fax. At least it's a plus. We wait until the internet is available across the whole entire county. I would actually like to see have this office like tax. Since I lived here, I tax. But cycle.
Anybody else have anything you want to say? Right?
My question is what the town is doing in the way of sectioning our housing assistance. Me and my child were relocated here after being homeless last year, and we still haven't been able to get any sort of help to really, for me to be able to get a job. And as a result, I'm getting it. And so I'm here in an attempt to try and save my daughter some strife so she doesn't have to go to an all new school and make all new friends in a new town. We really would like to stay. I've gotten to know a lot of people in Stewart, and I really like the town. That being said, if you don't have funding for a Section 8 program, that's understandable. That's just I just here to ask the question if the town is planning to do anything in the way of housing assistance. We've been here a year and I have not been able to get that, so we're getting relocated, and I really don't want to see that happen. Thanks for giving me a fair hearing, and I'll just leave that open to maybe speak with one of you after the meeting. And I also have business cards if anybody is looking for housekeeping or janitorial custodian services. I am available. All right. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you.
My name is Amira Badarin. Thank you.
Have comments? Mr. Sims?
Hello.
Sir Walt?
Just thank everybody for coming.
And I'm the same. Thank everybody interested in coming out and brave enough to speak. All right. Looks like under new business, we got Miss Lisa Hughes from the Department of Highways.
Good evening, good to see everybody. First off, I had talked to Ms. Walker about scheduling our 6-year plan public hearing, and we would like to do that April 17th, if that is agreeable to you. And we'll set it up for the same time that we usually have it. And I'll give you all a draft plan to look over what we're proposing, and I'll get that to you next month. But this year, this summer, our 2 paving projects are Fish Farm Road and then Handy Mountain Road on the old Orchard Loop side, 0.8 of a mile side. And we've got several projects in various stages. I'll start off with giving you an update on 58. About 80% of the clearing for the timber cutting has been done with all the properties that we have access to now. And if you've been on the mountain, you can understand that. So that's what we've been concentrating on. But at the end of March, 1st of April, production or excavation is going to double. And you'll really see a lot of work starting up in the spring. now that everything's cleared. And in fact, they'll be bringing in some much larger equipment starting at that time also. So see a lot of work getting done. And we've got several projects in Patrick County, various stages of development slated for the next 2 to 3 years. The site distance improvements on 103 at Lee's Cargo, the site distance improvements at Ashby Drive and on Route 8. That project's moving forward. The TJ George Bridge replacement on Route 8 South, and we've been surveying there past week. And of course, we're surveying on 58 in Vesta with hopes to continue our 4-lane of 58 here the next few. And the Squirrel Spur, we've had a project that we had wanted to get done for some time, and that's on the upper section in one of the real stiff curves. I know with log trucks, you know, everybody knows what I'm talking about. So we're waiting on our environmental clearance to start that job. What we're going to do is extend the pipe under there, probably about 60 feet, repair the flow line, and move the road over, make it wider there in that curve, and correct some of the super elevation there, and also do a little bit of grade. So I hope to see that move forward pretty soon. That's all I have.
Question.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Next thing we got on the agenda is ARPA request. What is it?
In your packet, there was a memo or a request from the Extension Office and a spreadsheet showing the cost.
So the first was the Extension Office.
Yes, last year they requested for 53 water testing kits for Patrick County residents, and it was a very successful program. And they're asking to do that again this year. Of course, the test kit has increased a little bit, so it's $32.50 they're asking for to offer 50 kits to residents who didn't take advantage of the program last year. They could do it again this year. And then we also have a savings from FY22 for our new building inspector that we didn't use that can go toward that cost.
I don't have any. I like the idea.
Discussion? Thank you, Mr. Perry. I think that sounds good.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
And I vote aye also. Guess we go to old business. Next thing is volunteer services acknowledgement.
Yes, as prepared from our last discussion by the county attorney.
Do we need to read it or just?
Well, we would like for you to take action on it if you so choose.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept it?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
The vote?
Aye.
Mr. Earl?
Aye.
Perry?
Aye.
I vote aye also. Then we had, the next one was Emergency Services Advisory Committee.
Yes, sir. If Mr. Scotty Castle will please come forward and give that update to the board this evening.
Well, again, I'd like to thank every volunteer who showed up tonight to support this. They find the back of the room for us.
Good crowd.
Yeah, you should have a package. I give each one of y'all right before the meeting, or right on your desk. The first ever ESAC committee met on the 30th of this January. We had 9 departments attend. Unfortunately, several couldn't make it due to work problems and everything. We had several orders of business to discuss and go through. The first was to make sure that the current rotation, the company or squad getting the money was correct. We did have one correction on it, and that was to put Stewart back in alphabetical order on the rescue side. The fire rotation was right. The first one you'll see was the old one we was using. The second page is the current one that they voted on and approved to be the correct rotation for the monies for capital improvement. After a little bit of discussion on that. So discussed, main focus of the meeting was to discuss the monies that the county was holding for previous years. I think the farthest one back 2017. The capital improvement money that wasn't used. And we agreed that if they hadn't put West in, that they would forfeit that money after the meeting. But if they didn't have they had time to put something in, I give them plenty of notice. And everybody voted on it and agreed that if they didn't spend their money, they would forfeit. So with that being said, first item up for consideration is CCDF. Rescue had money left over. They had $23,242.54 left over, and they are asking for that money to install a generator that will power their whole station. As many of y'all know, that lived out in the CCDF area, this last winter has not been very kind to the power system out there. They were gracious enough to open their doors and use their station as a warming shelter for us and a charging shelter. If you have any questions, we have their captain and Ms. Pat Souse here. If y'all have any questions for them on that proposal. And this generator will run their whole building, I understand.
It'd be good if we could get this stuff in advance so we could study it a little bit.
Like I said, we met on the 30th, and I just had time to throw it together this morning. The second item, any questions on that one? I'll move on.
Is that the total price on it?
The total price was $29,119.84.
Did you get any quotes on it or just?
Those are, we've had several fire departments looking at generators, and that is the best quote from all the others too.
I mean, we will have to get the information on quotes before we would actually put a check for reimbursement purchase. So we'll go through our normal procurement procedures once they approve the concept, I guess. It'll be to the board again.
Yeah, I'm not
When the
going to
check's
vote on
being cut.
anything
Yeah.
tonight, just for our information, correct?
The second item up was Fairstone Volunteer Department. They had requested the rest of their funds. They had lost an engine due to a mechanical failure, and to repair that truck was going to cost over $30,000 itself just for the transmission, because I understand the housing was messed up on it. Their chief, Mr. Peel's here today, if you have any questions for him. They're asking, they bought a used E1, a 2001 E1, that I understand has been certified, pump and everything, that I've been certified on it. And they're also asking for reimbursement on their Lucas device, which is a very useful life-saving device. After that is Vesta Rescue Squad. They have asked for the replacement of their Life Pack 12, which can no longer be used and certified, for their second unit. They're asking for $35,585.02 to replace that with a brand new Life Pack 15. That 15 should last a good 5 to 10 years before it's outdated. The next item was Stewart Fire Department As you know, they had money left over after they asked for the improvements to their tiller. Their chief, Mr. Buddy Dollahite's here tonight, if you have any questions for him. He's asked for to spend the rest of his money on putting 4 air packs on that truck to bring it up to full standards. That quote was for $29,724.84. And the last item we discussed was that rescue squad. We discussed it quite a bit, and they're asking for a load system for each one of their trucks, which total of $88,702.72, which capital improvement's only $76,000, but they are asking for help putting those 2 load systems in. The amount that these systems could help, and one injury is going to cost you more than it would for putting the system in. Their trucks are older, yes, but they're in very good working shape. Mr. Folks here, if you have any questions on those. But these also are systems that can be moved to brand new trucks. If down the road they buy a new truck, they don't have to purchase it. It can be moved down. And they are one of the few in the county that do not have those systems. That's all we had on that one.
All right, like I said, we'll have to do some discussion and figuring all of that.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a few questions? Mr. Chairman, Clayton, can I ask a few questions? Scotty, on the request from ARAT Volunteer Rescue,
Yes.
it shows they're requesting $88,702.72. The estimate shows $44,351.
That's just for one truck.
Okay.
One truck. They have a 2-wheel drive and a 4. They were using the 2-wheel drive, my understanding, during the good months, and the 4-wheel drive during the winter months.
Okay, the other for the Ferrystone Volunteer Fire Department, how much were they requesting?
That one.
Is it, what's on the back?
Yes.
Okay.
30.
$37,758?
Yes.
Okay, but then we've got an invoice that was paid in 2020. What is the purpose for that paid invoice?
That's their life pack. Their Lucas device they're trying to get reimbursement for. That's when they should have got the money to start with.
Well, it shows
that
it
year.
paid in November.
Yeah, they've actually purchased it themselves. They're asking for reimbursement for it. That's the year they should have got the money for capital improvement.
So they didn't submit the request
Yes.
in 2020 when it was,
Yeah.
okay, and what did you tell us earlier today, that if it's not requested that year?
If it's not requested after this meeting. These are all monies that were previous years.
So why
These are
wasn't
from
submitted-
2017, 2021, and I think 22.
So why weren't these submitted at that time?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
We're just trying to
that I'm
clear
seeing
everything
it
off the
clear.
books.
I'm just making sure I'm understanding
Yeah.
everything you've submitted. Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions?
So after a lot of discussion, all these meet capital improvements. We discussed quite a few of them in length, but per the meaning of capital improvement, every one of these meet that criteria.
How about for, that's the rescue squad, the life pack? When was that? When should that have been requested?
They were due last year,
Last year.
and they just found out this year that the pack was no longer, when they went to have them recertified, they were told that it couldn't be used anymore. And that pack originally was at Patrick Henry as a first responder pack. Then it came to us, then to them. It's been in service for quite a while. It's made a trip and it's earned money.
And this is all money that's been set aside in our capital improvement fund, earmarked for this purpose.
Question. Mr. Perry, you got anything?
She just answered them. It's not new money, it's money that's already been, and it's just
Yeah.
how they want to spend their money, correct?
Yeah, we told them we can't hold it no longer. It's been ours, someone's been ours since 2017.
Everything is except for the Stewart Fire Department. because that's current year.
That's current.
And the ARAT.
An ARAT. To an ARAT.
And our yes.
The others is they passed.
I think we'll.
Okay, we have their chiefs here if y'all have any questions, technical questions, why they need it and stuff, but y'all would like to ask them.
All sounds good. Sounds good. I just wish we'd had a little ahead of time. Give us a little time. Give us a little time to work on it. Thank you, Scotty. Look like the next thing on the agenda is solid waste disposal emergency agreement.
Yes, we actually have the finalized agreement as approved by the New River Resource Authority. This is for us to be able to, as I stated before in previous meeting, and on an emergency basis, if we were to need to. So this is just the formalization of that agreement.
We need to take a vote on it.
Yes, please.
Have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Wall?
Aye.
Mr. Perry? And I vote aye also. Looks like the next thing we have is the I can't pronounce it, opioid resolution.
Resolution.
Yes, sir, the resolution that's before you is drafted by myself and your outside counsel in order to support those settlements, Tivia, Walgreens, CVS, and Walmart. Proposed settlements are almost exactly in the same form as the settlement reached with Janssen and distributors, which would essentially lay out payments to localities over a period of time. If all localities in Virginia agree to the settlement that is anticipated, settlement, local government, state government receive a total of $425 million in settlement payments. So that will begin flowing at some point this summer, once all the agreements are approved. If the defendants accept the settlement based on how many localities approve. So I would ask that you adopt the resolution and forward that on to our outside.
Discussion? Take a motion?
I'll make the motion that we adopt the opioid resolution.
Second?
I'll second.
A second? Mr. Wall?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
And I vote aye also. All right, next thing looks like the administrator's report.
Okay, so just a quick update on the Surrey County Tower. So Cameron is obtaining quotes for work to be performed on the Bull Mountain side of the project, and he'll be working with Mobile Communications on the Surrey Tower site as discussed at our last meeting, our E911 meeting. Legislative conference for National Association of Counties, as stated earlier, Dr. Deloach is there on behalf of Patrick County. I did hear from him via email, so he is working diligently on our behalf, scheduling meetings and interviews, and I know he was going to be talking with Senator Warner's office today, so we appreciate all his hard work and due diligence there. Inspections are done on the dams project. We're awaiting the engineer's report and should receive it within the next couple of weeks, so we look forward to that. The PSA billing software training has commenced, and we hope to be live with in-house billing beginning in March. Also, I want to ask a couple of, this is housekeeping for budget committee meeting dates. Those who serve on the committee, do you have time to meet February the 16th and February the 22nd from our regular scheduled time, like 9 to 1? If you will let me know if those suit your calendars, I would appreciate that.
I'm good for sure the 16th.
Yeah, I could do that one. And what was the other date?
February the 22nd, it's actually a Wednesday the following week from 9 to 1. Mr. Simmons, I didn't know if that would suit your calendar with the noted changes.
I'll find out for sure.
Okay. And if we need to move the time to like evening, we can do that as well. Just let me know. Thank you. And then also just a friendly reminder, we are trying to have a meeting with both the Budget Committee and the School Board's Budget Committee, February the 28th from 10 to 12. And we do need to have that meeting in February as discussed with Mr. Wood and myself. So we do need to try to make that happen if all possible. Also, we have
28th.
the 28th of February, yes. And then we have our Board of Supervisor work session coming up on February the 27th, and at that time, we will have FOIA training with council. And if we are ready, we will have budget discussion with the full board during that work session. We have enough time to have our budget committees prior to. And then I wanted to give you a quick update. Last thing I have is on the waste disposal and hauling. I have been in contact with Republic Services negotiating that contract, and I hope to have it in the next couple of weeks. That's all I have.
Supervisors reports. Mr. Simmons, you have?
The only thing I've attended since our last meeting is the budget committee meeting, which is working a lot better, looking a lot more promising by far than last year.
Mr.
I haven't had any meetings since my last report, but this Thursday, the Tourism Advisory Council meets at 6 p.m. in the community room at the college, so we urge folks to come that are interested in tourism. And then on next Thursday is the West Piedmont Planning District Commission meeting. So all I have to report.
Mr. Perry?
So I too was at the 911 communication one committee where we discussed the communication, the radio tower, so we have better service and coverage across the county. Also, with Woolwine DeHart Park, I know that's not an official committee that we sit on, but it's part of Parks and Recs. So those of you that have visited the DeHart Park in Woolwine, please go on Facebook, and they're trying to get a survey to see what the community members would like to see and what improvements they would like to see. So please take the time to check them out on Facebook and give them your 2 cents. So give them something to plan for. And then I have a step meeting on this coming Thursday at 3 p.m. in Rocky Mountain.
I attended the 911 committee meeting too. I asked Mr. Perry if I could visit, and he said fine. And mostly what was discussed was the towers, Surrey Tower and the Bull Mountain Tower updating. And then we've had 2 budget committee meetings, and like Mr. Simmons said, they're going pretty good, and our goal is a balanced budget with no tax increase. So it's looking good so far. No promises, but it's looking good. All right, I think that's all we have. Except closed session, executive session.
All right. Pursuant to Section 2.23711 of the Code of Virginia, I move we enter into closed meeting for the limited purpose of discussing the appointment of specific individuals to the Service Authority and Solid Waste Committee pursuant to subsection A1, and to discuss the acquisition of real property for public purpose where discussion in open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position of the county regarding property located in the town of Stewart pursuant to subsection A3, and discussing the performance and disciplining of a specific employee pursuant to subsection A1.
Thank you.
Second.
Need a motion?
I just made that
You
motion.
got the motion. Your second. Mr. Simmons, second. Vote. Ms. Turwell?
Aye.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
And I vote aye also. Thank everybody for coming out. Good crowd.
Amen.
Glad to see people taking interest in it.